It's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you for joining us on this sunny Saturday here in Hamilton, Ontario. Looking forward to spending the next 30 minutes with you and answering all your questions about co-op. I am joined today by several students who are going to join us in a few minutes to talk about their own journey after I give you some of the facts about our co-op program. Now, we absolutely want you to be using the chat function today. So that's on the right-hand side of the screen. So please don't hesitate to put any questions you have into the chat. We also have a booth out in the lobby, and so you can go out there and you can get all your questions answered just by going over to the Engineering Co-op Career Services booth. Very knowledgeable, happy people over there, happy to answer questions. But I hope that we can answer a few things over the next few minutes. All right, so let's get started now. I'm going to be looking left and right, so if it looks like you've got the side of my face, I've got two screens. You might be used to doing that as well. Well, welcome to our co-op program. We have a very unique program here at McMaster. Our program is structured to really put you as the student at the forefront of our program, and that's really important to us from day one. You go to school, you're coming to school and you're hoping to get a degree, and really your long-term goal is that you're trying to build a career. And what we want to do is help you figure out how to get the career and the programming that you want to do. Co-op is an excellent way to do that. It's paid work experience in your field. And at the end of the day, when you graduate from school, you're applying to new positions. You could have two resumes out there as an employer. You're going to have the student who did some co-op experience up to 12 months, 1 full year, if not more, 2 years of work experience in their program, or a student who chose not to. You're likely to choose the student who's had the co-op experience. We have a very large co-op program here at McMaster, and I'm going to share a bit about that in just a minute. You can go anywhere you want with our co-op program all around the world. We work with companies everywhere, and we'll share a bit about that. We have an undergraduate and a graduate level co-op program. And so if you're here today watching this and you're interested in graduate studies and not just undergrad, please know we do have both options. What's unique about our program at McMaster is every student can be a co-op student from day one. And that's from the time you arrive here. We will find a spot for you if you want to be into the co-op program. You don't opt in at a certain point later on. So it's that peace of mind of knowing that you can start going out on work experience after first year. All right, so we are the second biggest engineering co-op program in Ontario. We're the third largest in Canada, and by size and scope, as you see these dots appearing on the map, that really tells you the size of our program. We actually might anticipate becoming the second largest in Canada by the end of this year. We have had tremendous growth over the last 5 years at our program, and that's because employers are really interested in hiring our students, and they really want to take them, around the world and give them great work opportunities. With our program, something you need to know is that, as I said, there's a spot for everyone in our co-op program. So from day one, we begin engaging with you that first month of that first year here. All students will get an online co-op prep course in first term of first year, really focusing on how to make you successful, knowing how to look for jobs to help support you if you do want to go on co-op after first year. We're known for running a plethora of events. Companies will start coming back to campus now that we're all coming back to campus in winter 22. We're going to start to see a lot more engagement, but companies come to campus and we take students to campus, and we run so many different unique events. We've got a large team here to support you. We offer career advising, job search appointments, one-to-one support. So you'll have an excellent resume, cover letter, someone to talk to. A large team who just really wants to help you be successful. Now, when I said everyone can be a co-op student, our co-op program is a bit unique. And it's a bit unique because you get to figure out how you want to structure your co-op experience. And there's more than one way to figure that out. And when you come to university, you don't know what it's going to be like. You never know what's going to happen each year. What's important is that you need to get 12 months of co-op experience to graduate with a co-op degree. And you can get that in a multitude of different ways. And let me show you a few options. So first, some students choose to do what we call the summer stints. So summer stints are when a student goes out after year 1, year 2, and year 3. So they just go out in the summer instead of doing a summer job, paid work experience in your field. You get your 12 months. Some students don't want to go out after year 1. They want to go home, not worry about it. And then after year 2, they go out for 4 months. And maybe later on after year 3, they go out for 8 to 12 months in a row. The internship model is when a student chooses not to go on co-op after year 1 and 2. They want to focus on studies, go home, but then after year 3, they might go out for 12 to 16 months in a row. 76% of our students elect to go on a co-op experience longer than 4 months. So students will be out on co-op sometimes for up to 28 months of their experience here at McMaster. Now, it might extend their program a little bit, just slightly, depending on how they choose to do it, but they're getting paid work experience. And the works is something that many students choose to do. It's when they do those 28 months I just told you about, and they go out after first year, second year, a longer term after 3 years, and then maybe a shorter term after 4 years. The trend we're seeing is that employers are looking for students to work longer than 4 months. And so we give you options to do that. Our students work around the world. And as you can see here, there's a poll that we're launching right now, and you can see our poll. So please take a second and do it. I want to see, where do you want to work in the world? I mean, we've got different countries we heavily work with. And international co-op is really starting to just grow at McMaster Engineering. But here's a little bit of a shot of that. So fill out the poll for us. Our employer network is growing. Like I said, we are the second largest program in Ontario, third largest in Canada. So there's probably some companies starting to show up here locally and around the world that you've heard about. We have students working at all these different companies and having fantastic work experiences. And so I'm sure there's someone that you might want to consider working with around the world. And lastly, as you're finishing off that poll, which was really important to tell us about where you might want to work in the world, I just really want to stress the uniqueness of our program. Our program is focused on you. No two career journeys are going to be the same, and we know that. No two experiences at university are going to be the same. And so as you pivot and you go through your experience here at McMaster, we're really going to focus on you, figuring out how you want to complete your co-ops by working with our team, helping you get the experience by coming to events, and helping you to get there. So if you haven't finished filling out that poll, please do that. And with that in mind, we're gonna come over and we're gonna now spend time with our students that are joining us today. And I'm gonna get them to share a little bit about their journey so that you can hear right from a student what it's like to be here in Engineering Co-op and not just me here in this presentation. So as our students are joining us, just a few things to know. You know, we tend to see students wanting to work in California. That poll coming through, 35% are saying they want to work in California. We have built strong relationships with organizations out in the California area. If you have an interest in that, many students elect to go out and do that, whether it's in the automotive industry or the tech industry. So that's absolutely an option for you. We're starting to see a lot of students work in the startup area. So that's a huge part of it as well. So lots of fantastic options here. And if you're looking at iBiomed, we have some really strong growth in the biohealth industries. So there's lots of great opportunities there. So thanks so much. You know what? It's okay not to have an idea what you want to do right now. That's where we come in helping you over the next 2 years. That's the beauty of co-op. All right, so I am joined by several individuals right now. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend the next 25 minutes or so, and I'm going to give you some, going to have them speak to you. They're going to introduce themselves. I'll let them each take a second and do that, and I'm going to give them each a question. So we're going to start with Robin.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Robin Jeffrey. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm in 3B, or my 4th year of the Automotive Engineering and Technology BTech program. For my co-op, I completed a 16-month at Magna as a manufacturing engineer at their exteriors division. So everything on the outside of a car you see, we produce that. So that was from January 2020 until April 2021 that I worked there.
Thanks, Robin. That's great. So I guess my question would be, you know, we have some students that just said 50% of students aren't really sure, you know, they're not really sure what they want to do. So I guess what advice would you give future students about finding a co-op placement?
My advice is apply everywhere. Even if it sounds like something you wouldn't want to do or something that you're not interested, still apply because you never know what you're actually going to like once you start doing it. I would have never thought going into like my program that I would enjoy manufacturing so much, but I loved it. Like I loved my co-op placement there.
That's awesome. You gave me goosebumps. I love hearing about that. That's fantastic. The one thing to share before we move on to our next student is we have a job board where we post thousands and thousands of job postings. And what Robin said is we encourage students to try and apply to as many job postings as they want so that it opens up a lot of their options for that. Okay, now over to Satovic. Satovic, could you just share a bit about yourself and just your co-op journey? Because you're on co-op as well right now. So it's pretty neat for students to hear about this from, someone who's actually on co-op.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Catherine. So, hi everyone. My name is Satvik Bajaj. I go by he/him pronouns, and I'm currently in my fourth year of civil engineering. And I am just like Catherine mentioned, I'm on co-op right now in Calgary, working in the oil and gas industry. So, just to talk about my whole co-op journey, I started out doing that mix and match model that I think Catherine was showing in the presentations earlier. So, I got a 4-month co-op after first year at Rogers. And that was sort of a project coordinator role where I would do a lot of my work on Excel and sort of, VBA and things like that. And it wasn't super technical because coming out of first year, you don't exactly have technical engineering skills. So it was always good to, do more computer work there. And then after my second year, this was in the summer of 2020, I worked at WSP as a contract administrator intern. So after getting some more basic skills through work after first year, I was given a more technical role where I was able to help out with the city of Toronto's water main projects. And that was really cool because I got to saw site work unfold and sort of help out senior engineers with their designs. And sort of those two co-ops helped me land a bigger 16-month internship role, which I've completed 7 months out. And it's in Calgary at TC Energy as a pipe integrity engineering intern. And what I really like about it is that it's super, super technical. There's a lot of engineering practices that you'll utilize outright from your class. So having your textbook handy is sometimes really useful when you have to look back at some equations. But I wouldn't have been able to get, such a technical role without sort of applying and doing things after my first and second years of university. And not only that, I think getting outside of, your hometown, because I am from the GTA, it's just really cool to have a job placement outside Ontario.
That's great. Is it because you just said you were from, you're not from the Calgary area. So has it been a bit of a cultural learning experience living in another area now across Canada that you're not used to?
At first, yeah, it was a little different just because I was living by myself in an apartment. But the good thing is, I think at least the company I'm working for, and I think a lot of other companies in the area, they're really used to students coming from outside of Alberta. So they have student committees and workshops, and they sort of make sure that you're able to socialize and network with people, and they just try to make you as comfortable as possible.
That's fantastic. Thank you. I think that's a lot of what we hear, from our students is many students elect to use this opportunity to try different things out. They might do some of their first co-ops closer to home, then they might move for their others, depending on where you want to go and do that co-op later on, especially if you choose to go away, which students are doing. The companies are there to help support you too. They know if you're moving from the Hamilton area as a student, you're going to move out somewhere. They do try and do their best to support you, or if they have other students there, put you in contact. So definitely an option. Thanks for that. All right, over to Evie. Evie, thanks for joining us today. I'll give you a second, let you introduce yourself in just a second, but when you're introducing yourself, can you just give us a sense of, what are you hoping to do after graduation and how has co-op helped you with preparing for your future career?
Hi, yeah, thanks, Catherine. So my name's Evie. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm currently in my third year of biomedical and mechanical engineering at Mac. I am a student, not on co-op at the moment, but last year I did a co-op at a company called Synaptive Medical. So I guess relating to Catherine's question directly, so at Synaptive Medical, I was a mechatronics intern, which basically meant I was doing everything from like circuit boards and like learning how to do that kind of thing and hands-on experience with that and 3D modeling as well for the company. And for the biomedical aspect, I was able to create phantoms, which was really cool. Basically, the company Synaptive Medical, they create surgical robots. And so relating to the question is, for my future, I'd really like to work, obviously, in the biomedical industry. For me specifically, I'd really love to work with prosthetics. But with my co-op last summer, I was able to see like how surgical tools are made and created. And I got that hands-on experience of just being in the lab, seeing what needs to be tested for like surgical equipment. There's a lot of things that I didn't learn necessarily in class that I was able to learn hands-on that I think would definitely apply for my future career. So that's how I feel like the co-op helped me for things in the future. Yeah, if there's any questions about that or anything that I learned, I'm happy to answer. Catherine, if there's anything else that you'd like me to elaborate on, I'm happy to answer.
As I'm listening to everybody talk, I'm thinking of things that come to mind. I get so excited about what people are building, because you were doing the medical, and you're doing mechatronics. There's students that sometimes wonder when they're choosing programs that have the dual option there, like our engine management or our biomedical, you're choosing your option. How did you decide for your co-ops whether you wanted to be more on the mech side or the bio side, or were you just hoping to integrate it together? Like, what was that decision like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I personally am a very creative driven person. So originally I was looking for something that was more not the bio focus. However, I did have a previous position as a research assistant. So I had background already in the biomedical area. So when I was looking for co-ops, kind of like Robin said, I was just kind of applying everywhere. So I was open to either or. And for my co-op specifically, I really wanted to have something that incorporated both because I'm quite indecisive. So how I actually got the co-op was I looked for the companies who I knew had like biomedical and mechanical aspects. And I emailed them directly, even if they weren't looking for co-op students. And I was just like, hi, I really would love to work for you. And that's how I ended up getting the position. So I ended up not having to make a decision between the two because I was specifically looking for a job that had both. And I was lucky to get that. So.
No, that's great. That's a lot of students sometimes wonder that we hear when they're choosing some of those programs. So that's fantastic. Thank you. All right, over to Dragos, who's been sitting here so patiently, listening, waiting. He's got that beautiful JHE engineering building in his background. I was wondering if you could take a moment and just, talk about, your co-op, just a bit about your co-op experience, and then also any advice you might have for students who are thinking of, coming to a program with co-op.
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name is Dragos. I go by he, him pronouns. I'm in my 4th year of what will be 5 years of the computer science program at McMaster. In terms of my co-op journey, I did my first co-op last summer for a company called Code Ninjas. I worked as a camp director, developing the curriculum and also delivering the curriculum for their summer camps, teaching coding in various different languages to kids. And I'm currently on my 2nd co-op term. I'm working with Loblaw in their Loblaw Technology division, doing technology adoption and data analytics throughout the entire company. So that's a little bit about my co-op journey. In terms of what advice I would give to someone deciding to come into the co-op program, I would say go for it. Honestly, the work experience that you're going to get is going to be some of the best experience that you're going to get throughout your degree. You're going to make those connections with employers, with people in the industry, which you can use for the rest of your career life, for the rest of your life moving forward once you get out of university. And like Evie said, like Robin said, when you're applying for a co-op, just apply it everywhere, because you're going to be surprised at that maybe the position that didn't look so interesting to you at the beginning, but you decided to go for is actually really interesting and actually really very interesting and cool position that you would never otherwise have thought of if you didn't just apply for it.
That's awesome. No, that's great. And that's one reason why, being the overseeing this co-op program for the last, 4 years, I really truly believe that co-op gives students an experience to try things before you're in the real world. You can try working at a big company, a small company, different lengths of work experience. And when you get into the real world and I see the real world meaning after graduation, you don't always get the chance to jump all around into things. depending on what life brings for you. So it is a great opportunity to really try small stints and long stints. All right, thank you. So back over to Robin. Robin, I was just curious, do you have any advice for any for future students, thinking of coming into the program? Is there anything that you have advice on? Oh, I'm sorry, I asked you that already. My apologies. I meant, what do you hope to do? How has co-op helped you for after graduation? That's what I meant.
No worries. So after graduation, I definitely see myself returning to a manufacturing role. However, I kind of want to try different types of manufacturing because the skills I got from my co-op, which are just like learning how to balance a work line, learning how to make something lean, writing work instructions, stuff like that, which is just general work that we did. You could apply it to anything. So actually, I kind of want to go into like toy manufacturing, which is a really weird or niche area, but it's something that's always been of an interest to me. I love toys and gadgets, and why not manufacture them with my skills that I learned from my co-op and just trying to apply them elsewhere.
That's actually pretty cool. And I don't know if you bet when we run Women in Engineering, we have one company that always comes to Women in Engineering, and I know they're a big co-op employer, but that's what they do. We have students from our program that actually go and they help make toys after. And one of our students always comes back with her company and really promotes that. So there you go. We've got lots of options for that. That's great. Okay, I'm going to just throw things off a little bit, not on the questions I kind of chatted with you all about, but I was wondering, Sadovic, what do you think was kind of the coolest part about your co-op journey so far? Like one thing quickly that stands out that's kind of unique or cool that you think would make someone want to go on a co-op experience?
I think it's sort of the flexibility, honestly. To be honest, I was kind of on track to just do 3-4 month positions and sort of graduate in 4 years. But I think just having the ability to have such a flexible, option of terms that you can have. So like I could have chosen to do 4 months, but depending on where I applied, and I applied to a lot of places after third year, I picked something longer. I think that's kind of the coolest part because I was able to really quickly change what I wanted to do, and I wasn't sort of locked into anything fixed. Because I think if I was locked into having to do another 4 month term or only 4 month terms, that would really limit my experiences.
Yeah, I said, employers like the variety of being able to give students longer projects, but it also gives you much more duration and you get to have longer things sometimes when you're out there longer than 4 months. So it's to each their own. You have to choose which of those plans I showed you earlier works for each student. Evie, I'm curious, just based on COVID, we've been, away from campus, but we've been running hundreds of virtual events and things over the last little bit. Are there any types of events that have been run by Engineering Co-op Career Services that you've attended that you thought, have been, beneficial in helping you prepare for your co-op experience?
So yes, actually last year, I haven't been in any this year, if there have been, but last year I went to the co-op fair where there was like a whole live session where a whole bunch of employers were there and you could directly like connect with them. And I found that very helpful, not necessarily for like the co-op that I did end up getting, but just in terms of networking, it was very helpful to get the sense of what it's like to talk to an employer, what questions to ask, what they're looking for. It just was like a very like safe space where you could ask questions. And because of being online, it was really actually great because you could talk to so many different people. So that's one event that I went to. Also, just with like the co-op services at Mac, I've been able to get my resume checked over, cover letters checked over, which has also been super helpful just through email connections with my co-op supervisor.
The one focus of McMaster Engineering Co-op, our program, we really pivoted to this, several years ago, is really focusing on getting students to talk to alumni, to employers, to find ways to get you engaged with them. Because in reality, communication skills, whether it's virtual or it's in person, is the top skill people are looking for. And so, we can post thousands and thousands of jobs, which we do. But at the end of the day, what we do from day one is try and teach students about the importance to making a connection connection with someone, talking to them. Many of our students, we teach them right from that first term of first year that you go to all these events and we hope you reach out to people, and maybe you'll avoid having to even apply for jobs because that takes time because you build some connections. So we look at it from two perspectives. It's not just about a posting and you're applying against all your peers. There's also other ways to find a job. And we really try to stress that in our program in the unique structure. So that's really important for us. I saw a question in the chat and I thought I would just answer it before we go on to another question with someone, only because people are asking about the differences of experiences. So 70 students choosing to do about the longer co-op experiences is about 76% of our students who graduate with co-op are choosing to do longer time periods in that. So it is very common with our program that students aren't just choosing 4-month options all the way along. They are electing to go on a lot of those longer terms. And it's because they maybe aren't thinking of it in the beginning of coming to McMaster Engineering. They think they might just want 4 months. And then they see the opportunities available and they want to apply. They don't want to miss out on that company because that's how that company likes to hire for longer time periods. So it changes for everybody. Anyway, I wanted to get another question over to Dragos, if you don't mind over there. Did you attend any events or anything while you've been here as a student that you think, helped you with finding your co-op experience or just learning more about, your career path?
Definitely. So I attended quite a few of the networking events, those big events where there used to be big events on campus when we were allowed to be in person, where you get a whole bunch of different employers in a room and a whole bunch of prospective students. And you get to mingle not just with your fellow students and see what interests them and which way they're leaning and where they're going, but with those employers and with those hiring managers and recruiters, and getting to learn more about the companies that they're from and what they're offering prospective students and kind of why their company would be a good fit for you and their position would be a good fit for you. And I found those events really helpful and really meaningful.
When we talked to students, several years ago and asked them about engaging with companies, one of the things our students were saying is, I don't want to just go sit in an information session and watch a company's presentation about why you should come work from them. I really want to talk to, the people who are working there, the leaders, the managers, the vice president, the alumni, as many as possible. And so we pivoted to really run a lot of these events where we run something called the Employer of the Week series. It's virtual now. It's, it was in person back. We had companies coming from around the world to participate. And what we ask companies is, you're not just sending your recruitment team 1 or 2 people. We're asking you to send the people who are going to be doing the hiring so students can network with them and talk to them. We put students on a bus and we send them to those companies, and we're hoping to get back to that again. We even took planes out to, places like California and spent time with companies. So, that's really important to us, that students get that experience of talking to the people who are doing the actual hiring. And so those are the things that we run. There's a big part of our service delivery model, if you elect to come to McMaster Engineering, is that you get to meet the people who will be doing your hiring, but it'll be up to you to choose to come to all these things that we're offering. And it's so busy. I can't wait to see it back on campus. We're so used to having our buildings just filled every single night with employers and events. It's really great. All right, one last question over here. Robin, I have a question for you. With your co-op experience so far, and you said you wanted to get into gaming. If you had to give one advice on, the career path, learning about your career path, is there anything that you might tell students about trying to figure out about your career path, though? When you come to school and trying things out, any suggestions?
My first suggestion would be talking with profs or other classmates, just because you don't know what their background is, where profs have worked. One of my professors used to do animatronics for live dinosaurs that move, and I think that's so cool. So he has connections there. You also never know what students are. Some of my classmates are working through the army, so you can get connections there, or they have friends or relatives that work at certain places. One of my best friends has dad was a hiring manager at WSP, so that's a good connection also. So just ask around and try to get to know as many people. Go out to clubs and teams, because they also are sponsored by different companies, so you can also get to know companies through teams and clubs through sponsorships. And just get out there and try to get to know as many people as you can, and going to as many events as you can to really get everything out of it.
That's fantastic. No, and you're all reinforcing what we believe in here today. And I really thank, you all for coming and helping me on this Saturday to really share a bit about the program, because I can run a PowerPoint presentation and tell everyone the facts, but hearing it from students who have been successful or going around, the country, trying different things out from a variety of programs is really important. So thank you. I do really, really appreciate that. We will have the chat still going here, so please feel free to add some questions in the comments as we move into the next presentation. If you still have unique questions about the co-op program, I've seen a few questions over in the chat about 4 months or maybe rates of pay for specific programs. Go over to the co-op booth. They will be there. They can answer any one-to-one questions you want, especially those things you're just trying to make decisions. We want to get you all the answers you need today. That's really important. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And we hope to see you at McMaster Engineering soon. Take care.